Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sell More Book Show, episode 641. Oh my goodness, I am excited to chat with you guys today. So, it is the day before my Kickstarter ends. Booked for life Kickstarter. If you're a nonfiction author, it's a no brainer. If you are a fiction author, lots of really good sale items in the add ons. Would love to see things continue to grow, but I am so grateful for the 130 backers who, as of this moment, have joined up. It ends on Thursday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So, I've learned a lot from this process. I have learned a lot about pivoting. It's hard. If you go from one genre to another, it's hard because your existing audience, it's not really their thing. And so what do? You try to, grease the wheels a little bit. You try to think, oh, well, what will folks like in my existing readership that might port over to this? But in a lot of ways, you're starting from scratch. So I'm doing a lot of new things, doing a lot of trial reels on Instagram, doing some new stuff there on social media, building up a review team, all the things that you do when you start a new pending. And so it's exciting because I've been sharing this information for a long time, but I haven't pivoted myself in a long time. And so it's very, very exciting now. All this pivot talk, you might wonder, Brian, are there still going to be free classes and things that apply to fiction authors? Absolutely. So don't worry. Don't worry. Let's go to last week's question. Dollar for dollar, what's been the best investment in your writing career? Sherry Beth Gilchrist Northcutt said, good book covers. People are so judgy. People are judgy, Sherry. Leanna said, taking classes, attending conferences, and networking with other authors. Could not agree more. Being there in person makes a difference. And Shez Churton says, ad school, definitely. It taught me how to treat my author business like a business. Without that, every penny I spent would have been wasted. Shez, I miss ya. Shez came up in ad school, worked with the ad school for a time, and now has just gone off to do incredible things. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. Love that. Remember, you can answer the question of the week over at the Sell More Book Show after party or the sellmorebookshow.com website, and you may get your answer read on the air. Let's go into the top story of the week. KENPC, where the C stands for confusion. Pages read, check. Royalties, MIA. Early in July, our author ad agency account managers noticed a reporting issue on the Amazon ad AMS dashboards from July 1st onward. The number of KENPC, KU pages, were showing on ad dashboards and the attribution reports, but the estimated royalties data associated with the pages was not showing. This caused a challenge for everyone who uses this metric in order to figure out their advertising spend and their revenue. Our team, fortunately, was able to escalate this issue through our contacts at Amazon, and in mid-July, the company confirmed it was a known issue. Once the gap in reporting became a known issue, in a few days, we were able to see that data show back up on the Amazon ad dashboards. You should now see that corrected with stats for both pages read and estimated royalties. They are both available now. Guys, this was really hard. And the reason is I have made it kind of a directive at the company, at the author ad agency. We need to be looking at these estimated royalties because that ends up being probably the most important statistic on the Amazon ad dashboard for books in Kindle Unlimited. I am consistently dividing the number of KU royalties by the spend to figure out which ad campaign is the strongest. Which ad campaign is the strongest is usually the one with the best ratio. And so even if that ratio is below 50%, that ad may still be profitable, and that ad may be the most profitable in the bunch. For that, of course, you have to check your split screen method and see what the royalties are on your royalties dashboard. But when we got these numbers back, we were all very, very happy. So, how do I assess the effectiveness of my ads when there are gaps in reporting? You always want a split screen method by your total sales versus your total spend, and then individual series. But what are you making in one series versus what are you spending in that series? So even if you're running ads only to book one, you're using the whole series data because of read through. Now, yes, there are complications. If you do a lot of social media, obviously that is going to factor in. But the thing is, you need to look at that top-down view. If you're not looking at that top-down view, you've got nothing. Now, second question here in the hot potatoes of wisdom. How accurate can I expect the Amazon ad dashboard to be? And the answer is not very, but if we know, we see our royalties, we see we made $1,000 and we see we spent $300, we know $700 profit, right? But then if we look at each series, we can see, well, this series accounted for $400 of the profit, and this series only accounted for $300. So chances are the one with more profit is worth looking at deeper, or the one with a higher return is worth going deeper into. And that is what you use as your barometer. That is what you use to determine these ads are doing better than these ads, etc. Because all the ads look like they're losing money most of the time. But in reality, they aren't on books that are profitable and converting. Thirdly, is this kind of occurrence normal, and is this a sign to pull out of Kindle Unlimited? I know authors who make 90% of their money through Kindle Unlimited. I know authors who make $1 million a year who make 90% of their money from Kindle Unlimited, and they are glad they didn't pull out when something went awry, because they would have lost a lot of money in the short term. Now, doesn't mean they couldn't have built that money back up using some of the tips from the great groups out there like Wide of the World. Now I'm forgetting what that group is even called. I'm gonna go look it up because I have to. Wide for the Win, that's what it is. So Wide for the Win, using the tips from there can be helpful, but it's still a long game. And if you have enough other things going on, I think making your life simpler is better. Let's go into the lightning round. Chicka-chow. What services are the most important to pay for versus do yourself? So a lot of it comes down to you individually. I don't always have organizational energy, and I don't always have finishing energy. So I need people who will organize stuff and get stuff done. Some of you who have great organizational energy and great finisher energy might not need to pay for that. So I think it comes down to your strengths. Look up that Becca Syme character. She's always doing something. Go check out those strengths. Figure out what you're actually good at. You don't necessarily have to pay for things that you are so good at that you're just exceptional at them, but the things that are challenging for you, you might want to pay out. Lastly, I will say, highly, highly recommend, someone gave me this advice a long time ago, add people to your team who generate income. So if social media does well for your books and you hire someone to do social media and then your income goes up, that is a worthwhile purchase. Now, that doesn't mean your income will definitely go up if you hire someone, but you want to give it the opportunity for people. You hire people that can generate you income. You hire a formatter, it doesn't necessarily generate you income. You hire someone to answer your emails, it doesn't necessarily generate you income. But there are things that can generate you income, and you want to keep those in mind. Second question, even many of the big name authors in my genre are complaining about lower sales, but other sources say books are doing fine. How can both be true? Well, perspective is everything, right? You guys know I'm a little bit woo-woo. I think that we get what we say is happening. If we say that things are bad, then they're going to be bad. If we say that we're not available to get a stomach bug that our wives brought home, because my wife brought home a stomach bug. I said, I'm not available to get sick. I'm not going to get sick, and I haven't gotten sick. Sometimes just saying a thing makes it more likely to happen. If you say sales are down, sales are down, sales are down, guess what? They're going to go down. If you say sales are going to be fine for my books, that may just happen. And so the way it both can be true is that what people say or think is going to happen often does. Next question. When is it smart to trust the vibes over the data? Now, this is really interesting. If you have been in this a long time and you have proven success, chances are your vibes, your instincts are pretty good. If you've never had proven success, I would trust the data more. I think you need to go with your track record a little bit. You need to, if you've never had success, you're like, my vibe is telling me to do this, I would wait a little bit on it. Now, the vibe can tell you the way to work on the thing that makes you money, but I would just think about the data a little bit more. What's the pricing mistake you see indie authors make over and over again? Pricing too low. Your book should be a minimum of $3.99. Even if it's short, I find that $3.99 is the way to go in almost all cases. And more often than not, in your genre, a higher price is going to be better. It's going to make it easier to be profitable, easier for you to have advertising be profitable. Last question, how do you tell the difference between intuition and fear dressed up as intuition? Are you a healthy version of your personality type? Are you the healthy version of your Enneagram? Are you the healthy version of your strengths? If you are the unhealthy version of those things, fear is going to show up as intuition a lot. Working on yourself and making mindset an everyday thing is going to make it so much easier for you to tell the difference between intuition and fear wearing a Halloween costume. Awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Let's get a wonderful question of the week. I like this. What services do you think are the most important to pay for? I'm going to just change this. Do you think are the most important to pay for versus do yourself? Y'all can answer the question of the week over at sellmorebookshow.com or at the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group. Y'all, it's been a delight as per usual. Remember, go check out the Booked for Life Kickstarter. Runs Thursday through about 3:30 p.m. I love doing the show. I'm glad you're tuning in. I appreciate you. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And we will be back next week. Well, I'll say, I hope you have a great week of book selling. And we'll talk to you next week for episode 642. Bye.